Greetings of the day, children. Today, we are again going back to the same lesson, proceeding with the next following paragraphs. Before that, before we could start our lesson, I just want you to reflect on a simple sapling. I know it is not science class, but then I just want you to reflect upon the growth of a sapling. When seed is being planted in the earth, buried in the earth, what happens? A small tiny sapling comes out of the ground with the two leaves. I'm sure every one of you must have witnessed. Why? Because in the grade 6, 5, we give you this exercise. This as a project, a science project. What happens to this two-leaf tiny sapling in the long run? It grows into a plant, and then it grows into a small tree, and then a bigger tree with the branches expanded. And then even if you cut it, it will somehow bring out new shoots, and then it will survive. I'm not talking scientific facts, how that happens, okay? But what I want to tell you as an English teacher is that this particular two-leaf tiny sapling has learned to adapt itself to the surroundings. And that is the only simple reason why or how this small two-leaf tiny sapling has grown into a big, huge tree. It expanded, it established itself. Okay, so even you and me got to adapt ourselves to the situations. Then only a sort of a change will come into our life, and this change, if we accept, will make us a successful persons. So now we have stopped at this particular paragraph, third paragraph, and we were learning about the siblings of the seagull were flying, and seagull actually was unable to fly, and our parents, brothers and sisters started humiliating this bird, so that at least that is the last trial. They have thought that is the tool through which they would be able to encourage this bird. And then we have learned new vocabulary as well. Okay, devour, cackle, cowardice, herring, all day long, since then taunting. Now what is this taunting? Taunting is something a people, this is like a tool equipped by the parents of the seagull to teach a lesson for this bird, or to teach to become a actual real seagull. They started scolding, they started humiliating, and they were called names, good for nothing, and so on. So we are going to see in the next paragraphs whether this taunting really helped the parents to bring the change in this seagull. Beautiful sceneries, right? Birds are flying on the other side. Down you have got a colorful slide. Now we have got a fourth paragraph. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He left the heat. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wings, he closed one eye, then the other. I remember one story when I was very small. The story talks about a cunning crane. Crane due to lack of food, it comes to a small pool where plenty of frogs, crabs, plenty of small tiny fish were there, and it pretends as though it is in a prayer and makes everyone believe in that pool, like all the fish could believed that this crane is really praying. And the position of that crane was one leg kept under his, just like this leg was with the hidden under his wings, and he's standing on a one leg. And then slowly it advises all the fish or crabs and frogs that were inside the pool, why don't you listen to me? Since I have become a sadhu, I don't take any non-veg, so I can help you all. I will carry you to a bigger water source so that you can have a happy life. Otherwise, in few days this pool also will get, it will dry, and you cannot have a new life. And all these people believed, and then slowly this crane started taking one by one, and it used to take to a huge mountain where it used to have its own food. She makes all these fish its own food, and finally this water animals come to realize that this is doing a cheating work, and then they kill them. That is the end of the story. Here, why this seagull is pretending just like that bird is pretending, like keeping one leg on the floor and standing on one leg, and the other leg is hidden in the inside the wings, simply to attract the attention of its siblings, parents, and maybe other birds as well. See children, the bird completely believed that it cannot fly, and now it will have to look for another sources from which it got to have its food. But then the family members denied. See here, in this paragraph, we will see the sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. Where is the bird on the ledge? Okay. And very hot sun. And this heat becomes terrific and becomes extremely hot for this bird because it has not eaten. It has not taken any food the previous day. So it is really hungry. You can see now heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Yes, from previous day, previous night, he has not eaten anything, and therefore he is feeling very hungry. But then due to fear, he could not collect any food for his own, on his own. And therefore he has come to an idea, a thought, by doing this he could call the attention of his parents or his siblings, by which he would get his food. So the pretense. What is the bird doing now? Slowly came out to the brink of the ledge as well as usual, and then standing on one leg with a closed eye. Now see whether anybody has noticed the bird. And pretended to be falling asleep. But then you see, still they took no notice of him. Even though the bird pretended to be sleeping, the bird pretending to be showing to the people that it is now tension free, at the same time it wanted to convey to people that it is happy in its own position. Okay, something different it is trying to exhibit. But parents, siblings already knew that this bird is trying to play a trick, have not paid even a bit attention to it. Okay. Still, even then, even though all this is happening, they, who is there here, the siblings, the parents, the family members, took no notice of him. They didn't pay even a little notice. They just ignored the bird. He saw his two brothers and sister lying on the plateau, doing with their heads sunk into their necks. Okay, they are very happy. They have succeeded in flying, and therefore they are very cozy. They are very friendly with the parents, and they are not very hungry at present, and they are enjoying the moment. Whereas this particular bird is trying to find some tricks to get his work done. Do you think this will work out? Definitely no. Why? Because the entire family is fully aware of this bird and the family has created this situation. So now the family will not get into this pretense, will not fall prey to his pretense. While children are playing there, what is the bird doing? The father doing? See here, his father was preening the feathers on his white back. Since it is early morning, the father is cleaning his feathers, beautifying himself. Okay, setting right his feathers so that he could go again for his flight. He's getting ready. Only his mother was looking at him. See, mother is always a mother. And just wanted to know, check what this fellow is doing. So she slowly looked at him. Now, pay attention to the game that mother is playing. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. She is standing in such a position wherein the child, the seagull who refused to fly, could see well. Okay, he can see what the mother is doing. This is another technique mother is trying to play in order to make the seagull fly. She never gives up until the seagull learns to fly. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet. See, she is making use of the situation very well. The seagull is very hungry, and definitely when a seagull sees a fish, he might get temptation, and then he might bring some change in his attitude. So this mother is showing him the fish, that she has a fish, and looking at him, and then she is trying to tempt him. She is taking a little bit of piece of that fish, and then she started eating it, thrust forward near her feet, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. She simply pretends to take that fish, eat it, and then you know the habit of the birds. It cleans his beak by rubbing on the stone. So that is what she is doing. Each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. What is that? Looking at the mother, he is also longing, desiring, as a sort of temptation is coming in. You can see he is mad. He is maddened at the sight of the food. And then at least these things should bring about a sort of a change in him. Okay? You will have to read this paragraph, third paragraph, and then you just answer these questions now, because you will have in the exam, they will be giving you some paragraph from the text, and the questions will be asked based on that. So who is pretending? What were his brothers doing? Where was his mother standing? Give the meaning of preening. You will have to give the actual meaning of preening. For you, I have given here as a beautifying, but then it is not exact meaning. Just I wanted to make you understand the father is just trying to prepare his wings ready. Searching for the meaning of preening is your job. Let's go to recapitulation. In this slide, in this video, we have seen the seagull family, and then young seagulls, fear of flying we have seen, and then parents leaving the young seagull alone so that the seagull will learn to fly, and then hunger and heat increase the bird. Okay, and then we have also seen how mother started instigating or trying to enthuse him in making himself fly. Okay, then I have given you a few questions for your self-evaluation. So this actually this activity is already over, but most of you have not sent me, and at least today just share your experience.